What's up? What's up? It's Thursday. It's sweltering here in Pittsburgh, but I'm Dominic D'Angelo. This is Rumor Innuendo, and I'm with Robert Karpelis, WE Creative _ish. We got the Dynamite to talk, Robert, plus a little bit extra. How are you doing today?
We do. It's a great day. Thrilled to see in the news that my once and future co-host Evan Gershkovich has been released from a Russian prison. So excited to get him back. So sorry, Dom, but you've been replaced. Sure, he's got a lot of insights into the Russian independent wrestling scene. No, I'm joking. That's great news. I'm super excited to see that just broke a little while ago. But dude, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, including a retirement of a major AEW star.
That's right.
Former AEW star.
Former AEW star, correct. A huge one. So, but let's get to it. Well, let's go in the chat here. See, we got Jennifer V. Happy Thursday. What's the rumor today? Oh, we got some rumors. Going on. A little Shane McMahon update too, by the way.
Oh, so, boy. I get to do like a little. I realized like the light behind me looks like it's like I'm on the surface of the sun.
It's very it illuminates you, Robert.
That is illuminating. I like my commentary to be illuminating, not necessarily the blinding light behind me, but that's it's the beauty of the Florida sun. It is insane how hot it is outside.
It's hot in Pittsburgh.
I took the dog for a walk. Like my back literally felt like it was on fire. Not fun. Now I know how MVP felt when he got lit on fire by Kane all those years ago. And more importantly, guys, Johnny Disco made it.
Yes, just Disco in the house.
Would have been rough without him there. But let's get to all things the Dynamite.
The Dynamite, yes. Hey, I wrote stuff down this time, so we can go in chronological order.
What was that word there?
Chronological order. And yes, Dynamite kicked off, fired off, if you will, with MJF walking out, the new American champion. And then he confronted Will Ospreay. Pretty good segment, I would say, to kick things off. I want to get your thoughts before I dive into anything, Robert. But what did you think of how this all fired off, then leading into the Lance Archer match as well?
So MJF coming out first, full heel mode with the custom suit, with the American title, going scorched earth heel on Greenville, South Carolina.
Right.
And I will preface this again, as I did yesterday. Greenville, beautiful town. My wife lived there for a few years. I'll be traveling there for business in a couple months. Seems like a hell of a place. The people in that crowd were dolts. Just absolute elevator not going to the ceiling dolts. MJF, kids, is a heel. Will by God Ospreay, as my good close personal friend Don Callis would say, yes, is the babyface. Chanting USA is not what they wanted out of that segment. The idea here was that the guy who is clearly speaking ill of you, the guy who was saying, you guys are all a bunch of hillbillies and rubes and idiots, and when I say that I'm the American champion, it excludes this part of the country, and then you respond by chanting USA, USA. Like, kids, this is why wrestling fans get the reputation they get sometimes. Will Ospreay came out there looking like a damn superstar, a world-class, #1 top babyface. He managed to navigate the goofiness of that crowd chanting USA and threaded the needle of like, look, you all love your country. I love my country. We love everybody. We hate MJF. And the way that he put over that goofy international title, which is a title nobody cares about. Nobody has ever cared about it. But when you read off the list of who held that title and you're like, it was Pac, it was Moxley, it was Roderick Strong, it was me, it was Orange Cassidy. You're like, oh, it has a pretty strong lineage. And I get that we're going to England and we have to kind of position this hometown war. But the line where Max calls him a redcoat terrorist, dude, it popped me hard.
Pretty funny stuff.
And guys, no, I'm kidding. Nope, that wasn't going to be
it. Too early.
That was my false flag moment right there. What did you think of the opening promo?
Look, I think it really furthered the tone of this MJF being the consummate heel, and then you also have Will Ospreay. Like you mentioned it, A1 babyface. Like, is he the top babyface in wrestling right now? All overall, from a performance standpoint, like you could obvious other one is Cody Rhodes. He put himself up in that mixture for it.
I think he's kind of eclipsing Cody just in the sense that there's a degree of authenticity that connects with the audience because he's got a goofiness to him.
Yeah,
Like he's a golden retriever turned human. It's Air Bud, the professional wrestler, is Will Ospreay. Like he is just so enthusiastic and happy to be there, and it's infectious. It's fun. With Cody, there's a little bit of we really like Cody, but he feels like he should be the lead on Seventh Heaven. That's right. That's a WB reference from
that's a
about
real wow.
25 years ago,
My
but
goodness.
using the big words and the suit and the, like, hey, kids, let's go out there and have fun, but let's be safe while we do it.
Yeah,
You get
yeah.
that vibe a little bit. Osprey seems like the kind of guy who's like, "You kids want a BB gun and some beer? Let's do it." And yes, I'm aware that was Butcher from the boys. I have not perfected my Osprey yet, but it's close enough. And
It was effective.
to his credit, to Will Ospreay's credit, we knew we were getting this Murder Hawk monster match.
Yeah,
We knew what this was going to be. We know that they only bring out the big man to beat him. But the way that Ospreay looked so dejected at having to face him and putting
absolutely.
his head on his chest, like, I got to deal with this guy now. Like,
Yeah.
love that.
I
Love
did too, Robert. I was gonna
soul.
bring that up because it shows like he showed concern and like fear, like, oh my God, like I gotta go up. Like I thought that was such a nice added element to it. And then it transitioned over into the match too, where he's like trying to top this like guy, this monster. And like, I think in the best way possible, like Archer lost in a very, very good way. He kicked out at one after like the blade, and then he had to get hit with another one, and that kept him down. I thought it was a really fun opener. And yeah, I thought overall the way it was planned, I hate how they build these guys up and then just to job them out. I don't It's been an ongoing trend with AEW, but this was the best way you could do it possibly, I think.
Agreed. I think this was the strongest use of the world's most intimidating job guy, and I know that they don't like that term. I love Archer, and I'm genuinely terrified of him because he's a massive
He's
monster.
awesome.
But like, yes, he knows the assignment, which is to make Ospreay look good, and he made Ospreay look good, and a dude who also looked really good coming out of this, Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, give me your thoughts on that. So I was kind of leaning more towards him. He's gonna turn on Will Ospreay, but I don't know. He kind of planted the seed that maybe not. Maybe him and Don Callis, he'll break away from Don Callis. But I think there's a little bit more leverage in him being a heel at the moment. So what do you think?
I couldn't tell you what the ultimate payoff was going to be. I just saw the babyface fire in that dude when he was talking, and he's got the arm sleeve tattoos. I don't need Don Callis there. I don't need Don Callis existing. This whole idea of, well, we're just letting him do his own thing. Okay. I get that the entire Don Callis family, I guess, is injured. Don't tell me that Takeshita wrestled on Collision 3 weeks ago. If it's not on Dynamite, it doesn't happen. They don't talk
Right.
about it on Dynamite. It doesn't happen. Maybe he's on Ring of Honor. I don't know. But the Don Callis family had its moment in the sun. AEW is really good about letting factions die. This is one you can gently nudge off the cliff.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think though? Not discount getting rid of the fact of Don Callis. Is Kyle Fletcher more of a heel? Would you go with, or would you go with him babyface and be an ally to Osprey moving forward?
I think he's a baby face. I think he's a guy that he's a young, good-looking guy. The story that he told of, hey, I grew up watching American wrestling, and look at what this country has given me.
That's a good.
Yes, you can set that up for him to be the heel and go after Osprey and continue to break him a little bit, but then then it's like, is he doing this on the instructions of Don Callis, or is he doing this on the instructions of MJF, or are they one and the same? And why am I trying to make sense of what is going on in AEW?
Yeah. Hey, speaking of trying to make sense, we had
Speaking of pushing stuff off the cliff.
Yeah, we had an eliminator match.
Oh, but I thought you were going to get to the segment before that.
What happened on that one?
It was a learning tree segment. It was Jericho.
Oh, okay.
So
I had that listed after the fact. Yeah, with the cake. Go ahead.
And no, we can skip right past it. I don't need.
What was that?
What? It was no. There was a cake. It was just, please make it stop.
That was it. That was so weird.
They were setting up the match for next week with Shibata and your boy Brian Keith.
I gotta say, I did like Keith.
So I do like. I've been holding my pencil. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't even know why I have a pencil. What? Sanjay Dutt is his pencil.
Well, the guy with the highlighter that was always on ESPN for the college basketball. I can't remember his name. It always matched his tie. The highlighter did.
Anyway, moving on. I like that the first segment set up a match for next week, which is Kyle Fletcher versus MJF. Your second segment set up Brian Keith versus Shibata next week. Big fan of all that. Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, my all-time favorite kind of thing. It's an eliminator match. It's for a title that's not in this company. Let's go.
I skipped that match, by the way. I did not watch
it. That is it because you didn't like the booking, or you're just a misogynist?
No, it's because I didn't like the booking strictly.
That's fine.
I
like Chris Statlander a lot. I like Willow Nightingale a lot. This match, we knew what was going to happen here. This was totally fine. Statlander wins. Outside distraction. Stokely is a dude that how they're not using him more is beyond baffling. Yeah. He is wildly entertaining. He has no fear in showing ass as a heel, and he's so plugged in across multimedia and understanding how to leverage all this. Like, the dude is worth his weight in gold. And I'm not saying using him with Chris Statlander is bad, but you can be using him elsewhere on the show to elevate a lot of folks. Like, if there's a dude who deserves a family,
yeah, I was gonna say
it's him. After that, a Bryan Danielson promo where we heard a lot about family.
We did. And he's a big fan of Greenville as well, Robert. So you guys have that connection.
Took his engagement pictures there.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes, I don't know.
How did that come to be, I wonder?
I don't know. I took my engagement pictures in Miami at the Vizcaya mansion, which, fun fact, it's a beautiful mansion. If you're ever coming down to South Florida, historic, is where they filmed Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
No way.
That's the big mansion where they have the party where he falls into the shark tank. It's also the villain's headquarters in Iron Man 3.
No way. Wow. Synchronicity here, Robert. I was walking down the street today, and I saw a girl with an Ace Ventura shirt on.
And you stayed the 500 feet away from her that you were legally required to.
I said, hey, I like your shirt, and she didn't acknowledge me. So
at least she didn't get maced. But you know what it was about? It was Bryan Danielson's promo here. It was about presents and promises. It was also about 7 minutes longer than it needed to be. He thought he was walking out to one sort of audience reaction, and he kind of got another one. He got one where the audience seemed slightly disinterested and then angry.
Yeah, right?
And I get it. In part because his narrative is pretty weak going into this pay-per-view. The idea that I'm going to retire because I promised my daughter works in the real world. Yeah. In real life, as a parent, I totally love it. I get it. I understand it. Wrestling fans are idiots. I love you guys, but wrestling fans are generally idiots. They will boo you if you put your family above wrestling. They will boo you if you put your health above wrestling. Yeah. It is, I don't care. You are a circus animal. Get out there and dance for us. Kind of like Dance Fatty Dance by Dan St. Germain, available now on YouTube.
It's a good one.
That was totally not expected. But stealing a page from what you're seeing with SummerSlam, the Damian Priest Gunther match, you had a dude win a tournament and go into a cold match against the champion, and they found a way to make it an interpersonal story between the two of them. Here, guy won a tournament going into a cold match against the champion, and the story is Brian's like, if I lose, I'm never going to wrestle again.
Mhm.
By the way, my contract is up August 1st, so even if I win, I don't know how much longer I'm really sticking around. So he could be fighting anyone. He could be wrestling Swerve. He could be wrestling Ospreay. He could be wrestling, Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah.
So you don't have that back and forth. It's something that WWE going into SummerSlam has done really well that AEW can benefit from. And then having Swerve go out there and be like, yeah, I would be rooting for you against anyone else, but I'm going to win. But golly gosh, gee, may the best man triumph. Is that really a white hot storyline going into the pay-per-view? And to some extent, does it need to be? It's going to be a great match. It's win or you're gone. It worked for Flair years ago. So I guess it's wait and see. But this promo just didn't fully seem to connect with me the way that I think it meant to.
I think there's the rain cloud of what Bryan Danielson has been talking about, and you talked about it too, is like, yes, I'm not going to be a full-time wrestler anymore coming up. I don't necessarily I don't have a desire to win the world title. He said that several times. And then on top of it too, he mentions his health, and that's always with Danielson. It's always lingering in the back of your head. And then how they've booked him in these matches, he always gets hurt legitimately or just sometimes storyline based. And it kind of puts a downer on watching Danielson's send off here, if that's what's going on. And, this isn't the best way to heat things up. I'm going to be intrigued by the match when it actually happens. I can only imagine how Wembley is going to be when Danielson's squaring off against Swerve and the electricity that's going to be in that crowd. I could only imagine how great of a match that's going to be too. But it's like, dang it. Like, I want to see Danielson at his peak because he is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And it's kind of like we're not getting that.
Yeah.
But we're getting a great match next week.
Well, we're I hate you.
Yes. Great match.
Next week,
this is the lovely match for me is next week.
Look, yes, before Bryan hangs up the boots, I think we all had number one on our dream list, Bryan Danielson versus Jeff Jarrett.
Robert, this is not a shoot. This is legitimate. When I saw that segment go down when I was watching Dynamite this morning, the hair stood up on the back of my neck. That is a shoot.
You're bald. You have no hair.
I have a little hair on the back of my neck.
No one cares about the back of your neck. The back of your neck is like it's like the 6-man tag of your body. No one cares. What's up? What was up next?
Hey, wasn't it a 6-man tag? Listen, I was into this match starting off. I completely got lost when they had the stupid moment of everybody standing on the outside and Roosh is just standing there for like 30 seconds, gearing up to dive onto them. And like Tony Schiavone's trying to make chicken salad out of all this. It lost me after that. But
well, you know what it was? They didn't explain it, but Mortos's mask creates a gravitational pull.
Is that
and
it?
That's why they couldn't move. Yes, obviously. Or Roosh isn't great on live TV sometimes. This was a thrown together 6-man tag to get to the finish of Mortos pinning Briscoe, which I'm sure will lead to a storyline on Ring of Honor for the Ring of Honor title that you can get by you put a quarter into the Nickelodeon machine and you crank the thing, and that's the only way you can watch Ring of Honor television.
Oh my God. I'm glad I understood that, Robert.
I know you understood that because you're an old man, but you're getting better with age, Dom. And
thanks.
Guys.
Oh, hey.
Why not? Let's get to it. Our next sponsor needs no introduction. You've seen the ads. You've heard us talk about it a million times, and I bet there's a big part of you, pun intended, that wants to try it. What am I talking about? Blue Chew. That's right. This isn't your grandpa's blue pill. This is the one, the OG chewable tablet for better sex. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. You can take them anytime, day or night. So it's about presence and promise, because you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Even if it's your last opportunity at the AEW World title, fear not, because win or lose, Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at bluechew.com, because Blue Chew wants the entire country rock hard. They told me, even you, Greenville, South Carolina, that's the mission. They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house, till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised, till every Todd is raised. Discover your options at bluechew.com, and we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RUMOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code RUMOR, to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo. I love that because of how madly I make fun of that end. They put on there the call to action is please read verbatim without edit. But the best way to combat that, and let me continue to do what it is that I love to do here, is go to bluechew.com, use promo code Rumor, helps out the show, helps keeping us getting the opportunity to segue awkwardly into Blue Chew. And now we will segue awkwardly back into the Dynamite as we talk about the Renee Paquette, Mariah May segment.
Yes, very good
Short.
delivery, I think, or kind of scary delivery. And then her saying that she wore Tony Storm's skin was quite an interesting line, I thought. Did you like this, Robert?
It was short. It was to the point. It was in the back. She seemed menacing. Tony Storm coming out after was a little much. Maybe you don't have your babyface be that unhinged, but what do I know? It was fine. The Camille Brittany Jane, I think was her name.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that was it.
Camille looked good. She's absolutely a star. I think in a lot of ways she's going to wind up eclipsing Mercedes Moné and what we see in the ring. And it's like you see what they're putting together with the women's division. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Camille. It makes me wish Jamie Hayter was healthy and back, because I think the world of Jamie Hayter, and I think that these women could absolutely tear it up.
Right.
Then the main event.
Main event time. We had Hangman Page and Darby Allin. Darby Allin gets the win with a roll-up, but it was an impressive sequence to get to that roll-up. Hangman was furious. Darby flipped him off. What'd you think of this match, Robert?
I've been very positive of this episode of Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
This episode, or the main event, sorry, not this episode, this main event, Hangman had Darby dead to rights way too early in this match. Like, he had him clear, like he could pin him at any moment. And Darby's your number one contender for your TNT title. I don't know that I would have been that decisive in the beatdown of Darby for that long. And it kind of takes you out of the match. It's a lot of repetition. It's a lot of Hangman could beat him, but Hangman could beat him, but like, well, then Darby is not your number one contender. And then Darby getting the fluke win at the end because Hangman was so incensed and he's such a crazy man now that he can't focus. I get that. I get where that story makes sense. Execution wise, to steal one of my, this was neither fish nor fowl.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool match to have on the card. You think that's a first ever one that they haven't done, and that's kind of surprising.
It was a strong match. We talked about the preview yesterday. I thought, like, this is going to be really And it wasn't a bad match. I just didn't love the ultimate execution.
Yeah, and I would say I think Archer and Osprey overcasted that one.
It did. I would not have thought saying that a week ago,
Yeah,
and yet here we are a week ago, a day ago. Some of these days feel like weeks, Dom.
they do. Hey, before we get to our next topic, did want to ask, what would you give this grade of Dynamite? What grade would you give this Dynamite? The Dynamite.
What would I give the grade of Dynamite?
What grade would you give the Dynamite?
It was a solid B+ show. I enjoyed almost everything on here. Nothing made me go, "What the heck is going on?" But it did have Jericho on it, so I have to knock off a few points.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it an A-. I'll give it a little bit above. I liked it overall. Hey, did Shane McMahon like AEW? We have Busted Open After Dark. Bully Ray, of all people, had a statement from Shane McMahon on the program. He said that the statement was, Tony and I were connected through a mutual friend, and we had a great meeting. We talked about many things, but mostly about our shared love for the business and the rewards and challenges of working with family. Wow. And congratulated him on the 5-year anniversary of AEW and look forward to see how he evolves the business moving forward. To follow up on that, Robert, there was a report by Dave Meltzer that McMahon attempted to return to WWE programming after WrestleMania 39. It was said that people in charge of WWE have no interest in him, and there's still a lot of negativity surrounding McMahon in WWE. Shane was infamously let go after reportedly creating chaos backstage at the 2022 Royal Rumble PLE. So, all that considered, does it give you further thought regarding Shane McMahon and AEW? Good or bad?
I think it's about what we expected.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Shane McMahon response that we wanted to hear, which is, hey, I'm going to have this meeting, I'm going to have this conversation. We're not committing to anything, but love what AEW is doing, and we'll see where this goes. So I don't mind that. I think it's still taking the temperature a little bit. I think WWE made the right decision in not bringing Shane back after 39. There was a lot of ill will coming off of that Royal Rumble, but if AEW can find a path forward with Shane in front of the camera or behind the camera where he's able to deliver, then make your show better. But I think that the most interesting part of the comment that Shane made here was talking about this idea of the evolution of the business. And with AEW, they have a different sandbox to play in. They're not a publicly traded company. They're going to get this Warner Discovery deal signed. They can take risks, and Shane has always been more of a production style risk taker of, why don't we try this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we look at this differently? Yes, sometimes it gets you Raw Underground, but sometimes, maybe it'll get you something really cool and unique that makes AEW stand out and different. And something that stands out and is different is the litany of shows that Mr. Dominic D'Angelo is the producer of. First and foremost, and I'm doing this because I want to remind him to actually post the damn show, Working Stiff.
Yes, talk about that, Robert.
Yes, myself and Scott Chaplin sat down actually earlier today. We talked about Shane. We talked about Raw. We talked about SummerSlam preview. We talked about the Dynamite, and just had a fun, weird, freewheeling conversation. It's a blast to do that. That'll be up as soon as Mr. D'Angelo posts whatever button you push to make it appear on iTunes, Spotify, and the like, which is the same place you can get the audio version of Rumor and Innuendo. But if you're thinking to yourself, I like Dom, but I wish he was talking to an ECW legend, where can they find you?
Yes, you can find me at rvdtv.com with Rob Van Dam. One of a kind with RVD drops every Monday at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually go live on Thursdays, but I am headed towards SummerSlam for Cleveland. So this week we'll do a little RVDology compilation coming up. So if you want a little insight on RVD's philosophical views and some good advice, like really, I actually learned quite a bit with RVD when he gives this kind of stuff. So it'll be a fun episode to kind of cover and look over. So yeah, look out for that next.
I like you sitting under his learning tree.
I do. I
picture him doing the split-legged moonsault while he's doing it, and he's smoking a joint. He's just like, Listen, guys, here's the deal. Airbrushing is the future of all clothing. Eventually, you don't even need the cloth. They can just spray it on your skin. That'd be cool.
That would be
What
sweet.
would also be cool is if you're a big Greg Gagne fan, the fine folks at One True Sport have got you covered.
We do. It was a big Greg Gagne day yesterday. We dropped not only his Hall of Fame speech at OneTrueSportTV.com for our traveling champions levels, but we went live with Magnum TA to talk about his Hall of Fame experience. And then later that night, we had a live Q&A with Greg too. So if you're interested in seeing that kind of stuff, check out OneTrueSportTV.com and look at our membership tiers and see if it fits your bill, literally and figuratively.
And if you're interested in catching Rumor and Innuendo live every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern, you can check us out on WWCreative_ish X account, the SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on ad-free shows, Rumor and Innuendo, and Working Stiff. Subscribe on all those gimmicks. Follow all those gimmicks. Also follow Dominic D'Angelo on X, as he's going to be in Cleveland all weekend long. Which means Dom will not be here tomorrow, but I will be. And Dom has promised that he was going to find a guest host, which means there's an 85% chance nobody else shows up. And it's just me talking to you guys directly, which I like to do. So it'll be a blast on behalf of the most reliable man in wrestling podcasts. Damn it, Dom D'Angelo. I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Do not go in there